After my promotion, I paid off the last $42,000 of our mortgage as a gift that night. I overheard my wife laughing to her friend. Now that the house is paid off, I can finally drop his sorry ass and take everything, no more guilt. I sat alone listening. I didn't say a word. Instead, I started create a plan this morning. My wife showed up screaming in a bathrobe hair, what he took everything. So I DK where to start. BC, this whole thing is honestly making me feel like I'm in some weird simulation, or maybe I just ignored a bunch of red flags. BC, I thought people were better than this, but whatever, I gotta get this out of my head so I can actually sleep tonight. If you're reading this, just know I'm not looking for sympathy. I just want to see if anyone else has ever been blindsided by someone they thought they knew. Before. I'm still in that no way this is happening mode, so okay. Me and Blair married like 7 years, been together for almost 10, no kids, just a dog is named Cheddar. He's the only normal one here, aren't we? Met in this weird way, not some rom-com crap. Basically, her friend Sage dragged her to this D&D group my brother was running, and I only went. BC, Victor owed me for crashing my car a few years back. Neither of us played, we just sat in the kitchen eating chips and arguing about Taylor Swift lyrics. A kind of worked, I guess. Now I'm thinking maybe I should have just left when she started ranting about how security is the only thing that matters. But hindsight, right? So fast forward, lives been like not super dramatic, just normal, lots of little arguments, nothing wild. I got a bit of a raise this year, nothing crazy, just enough that I finally thought, hey, let's pay off the rest of them all. We only had like 42 grand left, which sounds like a ton. But after years of double payments and not going on trips, thanks Blair, it was finally doable. I thought I was doing a good thing, like that security, right? Who doesn't want to be done with mortgage before they hit 40? I set it up as a surprise, made a little dinner, told her like it was a big reveal. She acted happy, hugged me, even posted some sappy Insta story about how she blessed and adopting Cheddar, got extra treats. Everyone's happy, except like not really. She got weirdly quiet after, not upset, just off. She started scrolling through her phone more. I figured whatever, just tired from. But then she made this comment when we were brushing our teeth like, now I guess you can finally relax her, which sounded normal, but IDK. It was off. I brushed it off that night. It's like midnight. I can't sleep. I go downstairs to get water and hear her on FaceTime with Sage. Didn't mean to listen at first, just the way her voice was echoing in the hall. I'm not even kidding. She was literally laughing, like full-on cackling, and saying stuff like, now that the house is paid off, I can finally drop his sorry ass and take everything, no more guilt. I played the long game, not even a whisper. Sage is laughing with her and saying stuff about how she knew it, how Blair always deserved better, and how he'll never see it coming. I kind of just stood there for a second. I felt stupid for even listening, but I couldn't move. I went back upstairs, left the water on the counter, just sat in the dark for a while. I don't even know what I felt, just like what the hell. I didn't say anything right away. I just watched her act normal. The next morning, making coffee, scrolling TikTok, acting like nothing was wrong. Cheddar kept looking at me like he knew something was weird, to which sounds dumb, but he's not usually clinging. Here's the thing, and I can admit this now, Blair's always been like this about money. Not greedy, just obsessed with security. Her family lost their house when she was in high school. Her dad bailed, and her mom's been scraping by ever since. Blair's always said she refuses to ever feel trapped like that again. So she wants option. I just didn't think I was the things you wanted to escape from. IDK, if she ever really loved me, or if I was just a walking more good payment to, or TBH, I should have seen it. BC, every time we thought it was about bills or about how I never think big enough, she'd say stuff like, I can't rely on dreams, I need facts, like sorry for being boring, I guess so. Anyway, after hearing that call, I just started thinking, how long has she been planning this? Like, was every fight about money just her pushing me to secure her own future so she could dip? She's not dumb. She's always calculate. She knows how to play nice with people, especially if she thinks she can get something out of it. I remember last Christmas she almost slapped me at my dad's. BC, I made a joke about how she's saving us into the grave, and she legit pushed me in the hallway after and said I'm embarrassing her in front of her family. I didn't even push back. I just laughed it off. My brother Victor, he saw it. But he just gave me that look like, bro, don't start. I didn't. Now I'm looking back at all these little moments, like the time she slammed the bedroom door. BC, I wouldn't switch banks out when she told me I was ruining her credit by not agreeing to Coastline for some new car she wanted. She'd get mad, disappear. You're into the bathroom, Fernando. I'll come out all chipper and act like nothing happened. So yeah, last night I heard her say it plain as day to Sage, I'm just the guy who paid off her house. I didn't even confront her. I just started thinking, sat there making lists in my head of what's mine, what's hers, whose name is on what. I started Googling stuff about marital property, joint accounts, all that. I'm not stupid. I know if I blow up now, she'll play the victim, and I'll get nothing. I know how she'll call her mom, make some big scene, tell everyone I'm having a breakdown or whatever. She's done it before when we almost broke up 2 years ago. She can turn on the waterworks in a second. I went through the house this morning just looking at all the stuff I bought, the stuff she's said was too expensive, but then bragged about to her friends. I didn't say a word. Her just watched her pretend to be all chill. She made eggs, asked if I wanted some. I just shook my head. She shrugged and posted a pic of her breakfast to her story, tagging Sage like nothing happened. I texted my brother and just said, hey, can I come by later? He just sent back a thumbs. Yup, I don't think he knows what's up. But whatever, I'm not telling anyone. I want to see how far she'll go before she tips all hand. I want to see if she'll try to move money or start suggesting we split up now that the house is paid off. I'm not getting played like some idiot, not again. She thinks she's the only one who can play games. She has no idea I'm not sitting around waiting for her to make the first. And I'm going to make sure when she tries to take everything, there's nothing left for her to grab. I started last night changing passwords, checking which accounts are actually joined, figuring out what can be moved. Cheddar sleeping at my feet as I type this. I'm not going to let her walk all over me. Not this time. I'll update when I know what I'm doing next. But if you ever wonder if someone's playing you, trust your gut. People are way better at pretending than you think. Update 1. So if you read my last post, you already know my wife Blair straight up said to her friend that she'd take everything now that the house is paid off. And yeah, I sat there and heard it. Didn't sleep much after that. But I woke up with this weird calm Google. Not the kind of calm where years, and with stuff more like that, dead quiet. For a thunderstorm just waiting. Cheddar was glued to my side all morning, maybe picking up on the tension or maybe just wanting his breakfast early. IDK. So the first weird thing was Blair acting super chipper, like over the top almost. She made coffee and kept humming Wood. She literally never does. Then she goes, should we finally get that new couch since we own the house now? Like, she emphasized the word own and looked at me for a reaction. I just said maybe. And she shot me this little smirk like she was testing something. It was subtle, but I caught it. I started small. First thing, I checked every single account we have, which sounds easy. But it's not. BC, we've got stuff all over the place. Joint account, her old account, my older counter savings account at some tiny credit union from before we got married. I started moving my direct deposit to my account only, which he never used. Busy, she said the app sucked. I left enough in the joint to cover bills for a couple weeks, but not enough to let her pull a fast one and drain it. Not illegal, just self-preservation, you know. Then I started looking at all the stuff in the house. So much of it is mine, all came from my side of the family. The TV, the speakers, the vintage game console, the tools in the shed, even the air fryer. Everyone makes fun of me for loving. So I started packing stuff up piece by piece. I told Blair Victor needed help with something in his place, so I was taking the tools and some stuff over. She barely looked up from her phone, just shrugged and said whatever. Cheddar's bad and food when in my car too. I left, or the old blender she hates in some pants, whatever. She didn't even notice it. For the next day she was on the phone with Sage again, talking about how she's looking at new apartments just in case, not even trying to whisper. I heard her say, I'll get the house so I won't need to worry, he'll get over it. Like I'm some toddler who needs a nap. That's when I started making a checklist, everything I paid for, everything I brought in, what could go in storage at Victor's place. Victor's not nosy, but did ask if everything was okay. I just told him I was doing some spring cleaning, he said. I should have done it sooner. TBH, Blair started getting more obvious. She started leaving listings for apartments and car. DDoS open on the laptop. Not even closing the tabs, she would ask questions like were my parents still planning to downsize, if we could visit them soon, and if I would mind if she repeated the living room. I just said whatever, do what you want. I think that threw her off. BC, she slammed the bathroom door that night and didn't talk to me for a while. She made a big deal at dinner one night saying maybe we should divide chores more fairly now that we're mortgage free. I said sure, whatever system works. She started trying to needle me, saying stuff like you're so agreeable lately, almost like you don't care about the house. I just nodded. She kept pushing, saying she deserves credit for making a save money and how I never saw the bigger picture. I said maybe she's right. She didn't like that answer. She called her mom 2 nights later, loud enough for me to hear. She told her mom she was worried I was depressed and acting strange. Her mom called me, asked if everything was okay. I said just tired from work, nothing to worry about. She said Blair had been anxious lately and she hoped I wasn't withholding anything. I said nope, everything's fine, job busy. Her mom sounded unconvinced. I could hear Blair and the other room slamming doors. Then she came in and asked if I'd seen her charger. I said I moved at BC. I was cleaning. She rolled her eyes and muttered something under her breath. I started sleeping on the couch with Cheddar. She didn't even ask why. She just posted some sad lyrics on her instance like she was auditioning for a breakup montage, so commented with hearts and some you got this piece. I didn't say anything. I started moving more stuff out every day, a little at a time. Victor let me use his garage. He asked if I was moving out or something. I just said I needed to make space. He shrugged and asked if Cheddar was coming over too. I said maybe. Blair started getting suspicious. She started asking about the jointer count, why the balance was lower. I said bills are expensive. And she snapped, saying she needs to know if I'm hiding something. I said she could check the statements anytime. She grabbed my phone, tried to unlock it, and when it didn't work, she tossed it on the table and walked out. She came back in and tried to push past me to get to the laptop. I blocked her, and she shoved me, so I just stepped aside and let her have the laptop. She slammed shut and stormed upstairs. Cheddar barked. I ignored. She tried to get me to go to a couple's dinner with Sage and her boyfriend. I said no, not in the mood. She slammed her bedroom door again. 2 days later, she started bringing up maybe we should talk about our future. I said sure, whenever she wants. She asked if I thought we'd be happy living apart. I just said depends if you want to be happy. She glared at me, grabbed her keys, and left. She didn't come back for like 4 hours. She texted me once, said not to wait up. She started hiding stuff to her jewelry, her laptop, even all makeup bag. She started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. She started asking weird questions about Cheddar, like if I'd ever law or taken to her mom's, if we ever split up. I said no. She rolled her eyes. The whole vibe in the house shifted. Every meal was silent. Every question was loaded. I could tell she was trying to get a reaction out of me, but I just acted like I didn't care. She tried to pick a fight over the internet bill, saying I was hogging all the bandwidth. I said she could switch providers if she wanted. She did like that. She pushed her chair back and stormed out, slammed the front door. I started documenting everything, receipts, text, screenshots. I took photos of everything that was mine. I even wrote down which stuff had been gifts from my family. I figured if she tried to pull anything, I'd have proof. I started moving more money, paying off my credit card, closing out anything that was joint but in my name. I called the insurance people and made sure the house policy was up to date, just in my name. Cheddar started sleeping in the car with me some nights when she was extra tense. I only told Victor the basics, not the whole story. He said I was welcome to crash anytime. I said not yet. The weirdest part was how normal Blair tried to act in front of anyone else. Her mom came by one night to drop off some soup, and Blair put on this whole act, smiling and laughing, asking about family stuff. The second her mom left, she started yelling at me about the kitchen being a mess. I said clean it if you want. She glared at me, snapped dish towel, and stomped upstairs. She started locking the bathroom door every time she went in. She started checking the mailbox twice a day. She started asking if I'd seen any weird mail from the bank. I said nope, the last straw was. When she said she wanted to talk about selling the house, she said maybe it was time for a fresh start. I just said sure if you want to. She didn't expect that I could tell. She tried to beat me into arguing, saying I was being cold and unfair. I said just let me know if you want to list it. She slammed the door ago. Then I could tell she was getting desperate. She started texting Sage, constantly whispering on the phone, checking your credit score like every day. She started talking about knowing her worth and not letting anyone hold her back. I just kept moving my stuff, closing accounts, making copies of everything. Important IDK, what's going to happen next? But I know she's planning something. I'm not waiting around to see if she'll stab me in the back. I'm taking back every single thing she thought she could just waltz off with. She's not the only one who knows how to play this game. I'll update when it all blows up. I'm ready for it. Update to so yeah, this is the part where things actually went down. Honestly, if you told me last year I'd be writing this, I'd have just laughed and said there's no way Blair would ever drop the mask that hard. But here we are anyway. If you kept up with the last two posts, you'll know I was already moving my stuff, moving my money, getting everything in place. TBH, it's wild how fast things can start happening once you actually stop sitting around hoping people will change. The thing that stuck out was how Blair started getting sloppy. She was always careful, but lately she'd leave tabs open on her laptop, text from Sage just popping up mid-conversation. All this manifesting abundance crap. She'd leave her phone face up, and I'd see notifications about apartments, not even bothering to delete her search history. She started sending herself emails with links to divorce checklists and how to get the house guide. She was getting cocky, I guess, or maybe just impatient. She wanted out, but wanted to walk out holding the deed and my stuff. To one night, she started in again, saying maybe we should rethink the way we live. Maybe it's time to set some boundaries. I said, sure, whatever boundaries you want. She tried to beat me with questions like, do you even care what happens next? And all I said was, you can do what you want. She got mad, pushed her chair back, shoved her plate across the table, and went upstairs. I just took Cheddar for a walk and called it a night. So the night before everything blew up, I the last of my stuff into the car. Victor let me stash some stuff at his place, and the rest I just loaded up. I left the big things behind. I mean, I couldn't exactly take the whole couch with the fridge, but all the stuff that was mine gone. TV, speakers, game console, tools, the dog stuff, my clothes, my old guitar, even my box of random cables and chargers. I even took the router. Not gonna lie, BC, I pay for the internet and wasn't about to leave her with free Wi-Fi. I left the fridge with half a carton of eggs and some old milk she hates anyway. I waited until she was in the shower. Cheddar followed me around, tail wagging like it was just a normal day. I left a note on the counter, nothing dramatic, just you wanted security, so now you've got it. Good luck. I took my car in my name, paid for, locked the door, and left. I parked a few blocks away, and yeah, I waited. I wanted to see her reaction. Maybe that's petty, but after what she said, the Sage, I wasn't about to just let her play this out like she was the only one with a plan. It was maybe an hour later, just after sunrise, when I saw her fly out the front door in a bathrobe, hair still wet, screaming into her phone. She was yelling at someone, pretty sure it was Sage, saying, I took everything. He took everything. What am I supposed to do? She saw the empty living room, saw Cheddar's bag gone, saw the router gone, and started yelling louder. She slammed the door so hard the mail slot rattled. I could hear her through the open windows, stomping around, opening cabinets, yelling my name. Sage actually showed up like 20 minutes later. She pulled up at her little blue hatchback, hair still and a messy bin, looking like she woke up just for the drama. She marched up to the door, didn't even knock, just barged in. I could hear them both yelling. Sage saying, I must have lost my mind. Blair saying she can't believe I would do this to her. After everything she put up with, they started shouting about calling my family, about calling the bank, about how I'd regret this. I just sat in my car with Cheddar, scrolling through Reddit, waiting. Then Blair actually called my dad. I didn't pick up, but he left a voicemail saying Blair was very upset and maybe I should just come talk it out, not leave things ugly. I texted him, just handling it, will call you later. He didn't reply. After a while, Blair came storming out and saw my car parked down the street. She came running down screaming, "Why would you do this? What's wrong with you? Are you trying to ruin my life?" I just said, "We're done, you got what you wanted." She tried to slap me, missed, then shoved me. I stepped back, told her not to touch me. She screamed some more, then stormed back up the street. Cheddar barked at her. Sage started yelling from the porch that I was a child, that real men don't run away from problems. I didn't say anything, just got in the car. I drove off, didn't look back. Victor texted me, asked if I was okay. I just sent him a thumbs up and a pic of Cheddar in the passenger seat. He said good. Stay safe. That day, Blair's mom called me 3 times. Her first message was all polite, saying she hoped we see